Dear patriots and change agents, welcome to the Nigeria Leadership Series Town Hall, a proud subsidiary of the Africa Leadership Group, powered by the Tri-Africa Empowerment Foundation. We're so glad to have you here for this weekly virtual town hall, where renowned thought leaders and engaged citizens come together for meaningful discussions that spark ideas, promote responsible leadership, and advance good governance for our beloved nation. Hosted by Pastor Itwai Godalo, President and Founder, this series reflects his vision, which is to promote the emergence of real, ethical, and accountable leaders for good governance, not just in Nigeria, but across the continent. We are a non-religious, non-partisan, non-political organization powered by people just like you, individuals whose vision align with ours to drive sustainable development across Africa. At the Tri-Africa Empowerment Foundation, we believe Nigeria's diversity, our cultures, ethnicities, and tribe is our greatest strength. Through initiatives like the Ito Olajide Godalo Real Mentorship Program, project management courses, and the Civic Awareness and Citizens Engagement Programs, our School of Leadership and Governance offers stellar opportunities in leadership training, capacity building, and social development. Under our Community Development Initiative, projects like Feed a Neighbor, Feed a Nation have reached over 2,000 families facing food insecurity across 6 states. Our recently commissioned Hope Alive Fund is designed to empower and support entrepreneurship in underserved communities. In collaboration with civil society partners, we are building a coalition for participatory governance that works at the grassroots level to strengthen good governance and effective administration at the local government. We invite you to join us on this journey as we lay the bricks one at a time in building a resilient and formidable Africa. Please join us every Thursday at 5 p.m. West African time, live on Zoom. The meeting link is the same, simple, consistent, and open to all. Also, stay connected and inspired all week long and follow us on all our social media as posted here. Mark your calendars, invite a friend, and let's grow together. The Nigeria Leadership Series Town Hall, building leaders, celebrating unity, and shaping Africa's future. See you again next Thursday at 5 p.m. right here on Zoom. Dear patriots and change agents, welcome to the Nigeria Leadership Series Town Hall, a proud subsidiary of the Africa Leadership Group, powered by the Tri-Africa Empowerment Foundation. We're so glad to have you here for this weekly virtual town hall, where renowned thought leaders and engaged citizens come together for meaningful discussions that spark ideas, promote responsible leadership, and advance good governance for our beloved nation. Hosted by Pastor Itwai Godalo, President and Founder, this series reflects his vision, which is to promote the emergence of real, ethical, and accountable leaders for good governance, not just in Nigeria, but across the continent. We are a non-religious, non-partisan, non-political organization powered by people just like you, individuals whose vision align with ours to drive sustainable development across Africa. At the Tri-Africa Empowerment Foundation, we believe Nigeria's diversity, our cultures, ethnicities, and tribe is our greatest strength. Through initiatives like the Ito Olajide Godalo Real Mentorship Program, project management courses, and the Civic Awareness and Citizens Engagement Programs, our School of Leadership and Governance offers stellar opportunities in leadership training, capacity building, and social development. Under our Community Development Initiative, projects like Feed a Neighbor, Feed a Nation have reached over 2,000 families facing food insecurity across 6 states. Our recently commissioned Hope Alive Fund is designed to empower and support entrepreneurship. Simple, consistent, and open to all. Also, stay connected and inspired all week long and follow us on all our social media as posted here.
Warm greetings and welcome to today's edition of the African Leadership Group, the Nigerian Leadership Series. And we really want to have a very wonderful discussion today. And the discussion is on national unity and social cohesion. National unity and social cohesion. And speaking to us today, our guest is a very, very special person who has tried her best to be a voice in this very, very changing and turbulent and difficult Nigeria. Very, very changing, turbulent, and difficult Nigeria. Somebody who has spoken with boldness and clarity. A veteran Nigerian actress, author, advocate, politician from Rivers State, born in October 22. I won't tell you the year because she's a very, very distinguished and pretty lady. So let me leave that year for me, for my own consumption. But just know it's October 22. Okay, so every October 22, make sure you get a very in Buguma, Asari Toru, Rivers State, and had her bachelor's and master's degrees in theater arts from the University of Port Harcourt. First of 6 children of a Nigerian father and a school teacher mother. Known for her emotional tear-jerking roles in some of those movies, End of the Wicked. I wish that movie could have walked us out in Nigeria and ended all the wickedness. Gone forever. Maybe all the corruption would have gone forever. And my goodwill would have brought a lot of Christian goodwill to Nigeria. And then the CEO will get us a very good CEO in Nigeria. And then the stigma would have ended all the stigma, especially against the women in Nigeria. The only one I don't know about is a Sunday affair and wives on strike. We don't want Sunday affairs and we don't want any wife to go on strike. So those ones will leave out of the conversation. And by God's grace, there will be no uprising in Nigeria. No uprising. We won't have uprising. Although if it's absolutely necessary with the way things are going and the way our economy is. She's won various awards: Best Actress in a Supporting Role, 11th African Movie Academy Awards 2015. But she's not doing a lot of acting these days, I don't think so. But she went into politics and served as special advisor on youth affairs to former Rivers State Governor Peter Odili, and currently she's the chairman of the Labour Party. Very interesting, in Rivers State. Okay, her stance on insecurity is that leaders don't feel our pain because of their heavy security, and farmers need empathy and action. Let me stop there. Please welcome with me Hilda Dokubo Mbrakpo. I don't know if I got it right, the surname, but please forgive me, Hilda. The Lord will bless you, and the Lord will look after you and strengthen you. And thank you for your courage and for being really, really outspoken in this era of complicit silence in the elites. Let me ask you a question. I don't know if you're a chairman of Rivers State Labour Party in 2023, or you are involved in the Labour Party in Rivers State in 2023. Who won the election, presidential election in Rivers State in 2023? Just tell us now.
Truthfully, before they released their results, Peter Obi won that election. But let me just correct. Let me correct something. I was chairman Labour Party, Rivers State, but right now I'm national woman leader, Labour Party. So there's been a bit of a promotion. 2023 election was clear. Nigerians were tired of everything that was going wrong. The political, what do they call them now? They have a name. That group, whatever is that name, that group underestimated Peter Obi completely, and so they didn't think he was going to win. They didn't think he was going to make any impact. But what they did not know was that the young people, and indeed all of Nigerians, were already sick and tired of all the things that were going wrong and came out to vote out Buhari so that they can have improvement in the season. They were sick and tired of the hunger. But, well, that was until our new president arrived with his team. So now we know Buhari probably should have been called the Messiah. We don't know. But yes, that was how that went. So all across Nigeria, they did not win. Let's just face the truth the way it is. The APC system did not win.
So how come they are now in power if they didn't win? What happened to the
Well,
State elections and to the other results?
The sick people in our judicial system, and the sick one who was INEC boss, who is now an ambassador, decided to curse Nigerians with what we have. What we have here is not a system put in by the people, and we're not running democracy. We're running a pretentious system that we have hidden its real name under democracy. This is not democracy. The people don't have any say. And every time you say anything, you can be sure that as long as you don't belong to that their caucus, you will be threatened by somebody from somewhere. But that's how they came in, because the people didn't do their bit. You see, citizens must learn to be responsible and responsive. When the Nigerian citizens decide to stay docile, everything is possible. Everything is possible. Silence is an act. When you stay silent in the face of oppression, it means that you are endorsing the oppression that is going on. And that was what happened to all of us in 2023. We decided to be silent in the face of oppression. So we allowed the INEC and the judiciary to play with our rights as citizens, to play with our votes as citizens, and to just plague us with whatever they wanted, which is what we're going through right now in the name of governance.
But what could the average person have done? What could I have done? What could you have done? What could Mama Tom Bomboy on the road in the
A lot.
marketplace have done?
A lot. We
Tell me.
obviously could
Tell
have
me.
done a lot. One of them was protest. One of them was refuse to allow it. You see, sometimes when you hear protest, it sounds like you're saying to people, get on the street. Pastor, if you sit in your house and refuse to be part of anything, that's already protest. If all the civil servants sat in their homes and all the junior staff who are today not able to feed themselves because their salaries can't take them anywhere, if everybody has sat down at home and refused to just say, let it go. You see, the thing with us is we allow too many things go. If we had sat down at home, you see, they messed us up during the NSAS. They shot at people, they lied about it, and all the rubbish that came with it. Now people have learned a few lessons. Some of the things that happened during NSAS can't happen today. Some of those mistakes. So we have made another one of being silent, of thinking that, oh, until you are on the streets, you have not demonstrated. We can't demonstrate. If the present president demonstrated in 2015, then we also have the right to say, no, we're not going to let this go if they try again. 2023 is gone. Let's just let it go. But yes, we could have done something.
Okay. In that case, if you say 2023 is gone, we should let it go, then you all need to begin to anticipate 2027 because that is on its way.
Yes.
Let me ask you specific questions about the Labour Party.
Okay.
Congratulations on your promotion. I presume there's a new chairperson Labour Party now. Peter Obi has left the Labour Party. He's gone to NDC. What led to Peter leaving Labour Party? Labour Party itself has been in some leadership. Let me not say. Let me say leadership challenges, especially at the
Challenges.
top. At a time you had two chair people. At a time there was a court case. At a time there was different kinds of things, and eventually the Peter Obi himself left the Labour Party, and so on and so forth. So what exactly is going on there, and what are the chances of the Labour Party in these forthcoming elections?
Okay, first is I'd like to say um, His Excellency Peter Obi should always watch himself, because it looks like he's the one that they're chasing around. Not necessarily all the parties. He should check and watch himself carefully, and let's all hope that God will watch over him as well. The Labour Party has faced a lot of challenges. And you see, if you look at the system, the entire political system, and the things that are happening, you will see that it's a pattern. A political party appears to be strong, and it's plagued with several court cases, and then they give a ruling that you don't know where it's coming from. Is not There is no precedent, there is no justification legally, and then it looks as if that party has been destroyed. All of this is part of the journey towards a one party system. So it's a trend. We see it. We see how it's going. We saw what happened with ADC, and then now with NDC, a lot is also going on. So Labour Party, as it is today, is fine. Under Nanade as national chairman, everyone is doing the best that they can to recover from the many things that happened under Labour Party, in Labour Party. To recover, a lot happened. A lot of mudslinging, a lot of things that were not true, that the media forced down as the truth, and all of that. So I'm not want to bother about things when they're gone. I learn the lessons in them and I apply them going forward. So 2027 going forward, I think that what all Nigerians need to do is, beyond getting your PVCs to go and vote, be part of political parties so that you also know what's happening at the political party level. I tell you the truth, that's where the rigging starts, or where you would say they gave you good governance or bad governance. Why? It is the political parties from their primaries who give you the candidates who get to run for those offices. So if political parties give you wrong candidates, no matter how organized, how credible the elections are, you're likely to end up with incompetent people, because political parties put incompetent people as candidates. So get involved. If you ask me, going forward, that's where we are at. Like I said to them at the party level, for the women, let's find credible women, so that when a woman is asking to serve, she's not begging anybody for anything. She has the capacity to occupy the office that she's asking to occupy. And then we can all stand behind her, but not just, some kind of token that is thrown, because that looks like what has been happening in the past, where one god something decides who should run and who shouldn't run, and then at the party level plugs in just about anybody, and then the person goes to the bigger elections, and you end up with what you end up with. But if we all get involved and begin to watch, like for instance, now most of the political parties have done their primaries. Let's look at the character of the people that they're going to give to Nigerians. One of these characters will become an office holder. What do we have? So that's what's going on at Labour Party level. At the level of primaries, we have managed to stand and say, let these people, we have given women opportunity, at least for the first time. We have women get their forms without paying for it. So they got their forms for free. We have insisted on a minimum qualification, clearly different from the secondary school qualification that is given by INEC. So we moved it a notch higher. So, we're on that path to it. P2B left way earlier than when the last judgment was given. So already, I guess people had started adjusting, because he stopped everything Labour Party, directly or indirectly, by the election was 2023. By 2024, 25 beginning, 2024 ending, P2B had almost left Labour Party completely. So it didn't come as a shocker. It was gradual.
Okay, so who's your presidential candidate now?
A young man called Chijoke from Abia State.
Sorry?
His name is, I'm trying to get his name properly so that, but his first name is Chijoke. And his last name is, if you give me 1 minute, I'll give it to you. I'll give you his name. Oh, his first name is Chibuzo, Ambassador Chibuzo. Yes, that's his name.
Have you got it?
Yes, Chibuzo Okereke. Did you get that? Oh, God.
We're having some technical issues.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
We
His
can.
name is Dr. Chibuzo Okereke, and he's Abia.
Okay.
God, like we must remember.
Okay, all right. So, what's the strategy for Labour to win this election now?
Well, those it's the same strategy. We go off to campaigns. We make sure that we have enough agents, and we stay put until we hear the results, and we continue to stay put. If we have to challenge anything, we stay put until it is challenged. And then if we have to go to the tribunals, we go. But yes, we will not be quiet.
So, what's the strategy to mitigate against rigging and people influencing the outcomes of the votes in a way that does not reflect the actual votes? Do you have any
Asegodalo,
strategy?
if you
No?
ask me, strategy issues are private issues because you really don't know. There's security issues. So they're also not issues that you throw out in the public because we're on YouTube, we're on Zoom, you don't know who is listening, you don't know anything, and we know the way the country goes. So we will be careful with those issues. But beyond just Labour Party, let's even look at all of us as Nigerians. What is our plan as Nigerians to ensure that our votes are not stolen, our mandates are not changed, and that nobody comes back tomorrow to tell us what we know is not true? So, what are we all intending to do to protect us? Because this is us, this is our country, most populous country in Africa, over 200 million citizens. We must have some power. We must be able to do something to rescue our country. We must. So it is all of us, really, not party by party now. It is us as Nigerians. We must put together our own strategy to say, no, we will resist this. This cannot happen. We will not let it happen. I'm a politician, but I am unable to handle bad governance. I can't understand it, whether it's carried out by a friend or not a friend. I can't handle it. I will speak up, I will shout, and I will keep pushing until the right thing is done. The Nigerian politician, average Nigerian politician, and as I dare to call them professional politicians, because they don't have any other work that they do, they depend completely on money coming from the system. It's easier for them to say, I have collected my own, and therefore every other person can go and sleep. But not for people like me. So some of us need to mobilize other people. We all sit down and we look at it. how do we rescue our country from the things that are going wrong? We need to all, it should be a process that gets all of us involved. We have to go beyond party lines. We have to go beyond ethnic lines, beyond religious lines. We just need to be Nigerians first so that we can rescue Nigeria. Nigeria is almost gone. Let's
Okay,
all have mercy.
to build a nation, national. Sorry, are you are you listening to me?
Yes, I am.
Can she hear me? It's getting okay. Okay, all right. To build a nation, national unity and social cohesion. What are the critical perspective of Nigeria? What are the challenges? And if you were president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what would you be focusing on?
I'll be focusing on removing the things that continuously tears us apart. One of them is that rubbish they call federal character. Nigerians are more focused on their smaller units, ethnic nationality, religion, stuff like that. So you ask a Nigerian, state of origin, local government, community, blah blah blah, and all of that. All it does is tear us apart, because at that point, people are unable to tell themselves the truth, which we have witnessed over time. People just look at it and say, okay, this is my dog. My dog can eat everything. I don't care about your own dog. Your dog can just go and die. And, that rubbish has done nothing but destroy Nigeria. If I were president of Nigeria, it is the first thing that I will throw away and let all Nigerians be Nigerians. And if we choose to go along regional lines as a country, then we can focus on developing our regions. Our regions, not ethnic nationalities. So let's look at that and how we can handle it. Agreed, we're first our father's children. We first come from this place before Nigeria, because Nigeria has become a construct of the British system. Because Nigeria was created, Nigeria is not original. It was a product. So we will have to remove that product element out of Nigeria and return Nigeria to its originality. People of this place and of that place, and then we can push all of that. But bringing this federal character and saying, oh, this set of people are backward this way, so they get more, and those people are upward this way, so they get this little, has always torn Nigeria into pieces. All the time, it has destroyed Nigeria. So we need to have Nigeria be one Nigeria, or just be their regions as they are, and we move on. We can't be both. We can't be animal and bird. No, it's not possible. Let's decide what we want and let's get that running for us. But I think that we need to have a united front, a people who handle their resources, people, land, water, natural resources, whatever it is, minerals, whatever you have as your resource. Let the people handle their affairs. Don't go bring somebody somewhere who does not understand, no empathy of any kind. You don't care about people, and then they say you are in charge. No, no, no. We're done with that. I'm done with it, really.
Okay, so how I hear you, but I don't quite get how you are going to remove federal character, because Because if you now write those regions that you are thinking, who then runs the federal, and how do you qualify to be a federal? What basis would you elect them, and things like that?
Pastor, who ran our systems before now? Before the colonial masters, how did we live? What rights did we have? It's the same thing as when we look at subject matters like feminism and we say, oh, before colonization, African women had their rights and roles. Colonization came with something different and began to make the African woman feel marginalized. She was not always marginalized. So if we're now decolonizing us, even in our thought process, and saying, no, let's return to our original roles as women. Let's go back. Our original roles in governance. What was it? What was our original roles in governance? How was Nigeria, which was not Nigeria, by the way, it was Eastern region, Western region, and all of that. How did we govern ourselves? Because you see, it's the laziness of the colonial masters who came in and thought to themselves that, well, the northern system was better because it looked almost like a mirror of the British system, where you have somebody at the top, the Queen is supreme, so Ranka Dede, the Emir or the Sultan is supreme, and every other person is right under, and whatever that person says, that's it. We didn't have that in the South. In the South, when they came, we had something different. We had age groups, we had elders, we had chiefs, we had council, we had women, we had Omo. So it looked a bit complex because there were too many people that you needed to have conversations with before you took any decision. And that was to protect us as a people. That was why it was there. So they chose the lazy option and then put us together saying, okay, these people have resources, those people don't have resources, so let's bring them together, and the ones who don't have resources, let's make them heads and let these ones stay perpetually down. Let's not let them know that we're keeping them perpetually down, and then, let's just say this is a product. Who is going to buy? We have this kind of product here. That's it. So what are we going to do now? Now that this is where we are, it's still the divide and rule strategy, because that's what it is. You divide people. How do you think children feel if you tell them that the cutoff point to get in the university for a child in Eastern Nigeria, you say the cutoff point is 130, and you say the child in Northern Nigeria, the cutoff point is 3? How do you think those kids feel? And then when you bring them back, you now say to them, they finish, they graduate, and then you put one as master over the other. And the child is looking and saying, I got in a university with higher scores, I made better grades. Why is this person my boss? And all of this is just because of that thing they call federal character. Makes no sense. So let's go back to how we were governed. How were we governed? We were not systemless, or we didn't lack governance. We had systems. What happened to our systems? Can we decolonize ourselves? Because that's why the World Bank can look at us and tell us to devalue our money a little bit more and open up our boundaries so that we can begin to send out crude and buy imported oil. That's why, because they still feel that they have that colonial grip over Nigeria. We need to decolonize this. We need to just break all these boundaries and move on.
I really like the use of that word, decolonize. And I think one of the things you probably should think of doing is leading a movement to really champion and give us the principles of this decolonization and the things that need to be put in place step by step by step to decolonize us, or to have some kind of form of it that seems to work. I mean, we've gone so deep into this already, arrangement now. We have so many things in common, which we did not have before the colonial time. We did not have common federal roads, as it were. We did not have common federal airports, as it were. We did not have common things together. Each one was a region or a state. It was a people state on its own. You had the Edo people state or the Benin Empire. You had the Oyo Kingdom. You had the Kanuri Kingdom. You had the Europe itself according to its own rules and things. And then anything that they wanted to do, they did in between themselves. I don't know if we can go far back there, or now that we have some things we share in common, like a currency. We didn't have a common currency. It was largely trade by barter at that time, or maybe some extent cowrie shells. How do we now, with this thing that we found ourselves in, and this one that they've taken a lot of the crude oil from somewhere and they've spread it to everybody and so on and so forth, how do we recreate that? How do we get reparations for that, and so on and so forth? I mean, because in those days everybody developed their own resource and used their resource as best as they could. Yeah.
Let's start gradually, one step at a time. It won't happen at once. It will happen gradually. We have a few things in common, yes. We did even before decolonization. When we did barter trade, we had things that we gave to them, and they also had things that they gave to us. So, but colonization is how we are where we are. All this dislike for one another is part of what that came with, where people directly and indirectly introduce you to systemic discrimination. Right? That's what they have done, because colonization came with the whites being Oga. They left, the leaders are now Oga. So they created the template for discrimination, for people not knowing that they owe others the responsibility of doing the right thing. So yes, we will start gradually. The things that we can correct, because in everything, there's something evil and there's something good. Now, let me give you another example. We're talking about the crude oil. Bile is a community in Degema local government area. Hello? Hello? Have we gone off air?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Fantastic.
We can hear you.
All right. So it's a community. They have oil, they have gas. OML 18 has been there since they first discovered oil. Shell drilled until Shell left it, and then Renaissance took over and all of that. Today, the infrastructure, the crude infrastructure is bad, and it's poisoning the people. But because the people are waiting for the people who laid the pipes, who have been gaining from it, it took an outcry for the federal government to say, okay, we sent people. And even as they came to speak English. So we're waiting. They have said, be patient, be patient. So we're going to be patient. So there are things that you can't understand except you are in the shoes. Except you walk in those shoes, you will never understand. So let's start gradually. Let's start first by how our minds work, by how we see one another, by how we relate to one another. If we can start with respect, each of us, no matter where you are from, no matter the size of your office, if you have respect for this nation, you will not steal from the nation. You will not abuse the rights of others. You will not intimidate anybody. You will not cause fear. You will not allow the level of insecurity that is going on. So let's start with respect. Let that be the first place, because the colonial masters had no respect for the people. So the people who are in governance today, in government houses, have no respect for the citizens. So it's a carryover. It's some things that you learn in education, they call them hidden curriculum. Things you learn without anybody teaching you. You learn just by seeing. So we have seen this thing over time. Is it not disheartening for all of us that the minute you get appointed to do anything at all, they don't even know whether there is money attached to the office or not? You get calls even from your friends, from family members saying, congratulations, so now that they have put you there, make sure you collect your own. Your own what? Who steals? What normal being steals from himself? So let's start gradually. Let's start gradually by purging ourselves of this quote and unquote powerful tendencies. Let's purge ourselves.
All right. So I'm asking you to please do for us, if you can, some kind of strategy for this decolonization that you have in mind. Maybe you need to think through it a little bit more, maybe a walkthrough, a paper that we can present to any reasonable government that wants to listen. And these are the steps we need to take. And if there's a moderated form of it or the other that you think can unleash and uncouple the shackles that Nigeria is in, what else do you think we need to do to build a nation and to have social cohesion? And I'm going to ask you this, I'm going to the end of my questions now, because I'm sure there are people on the platform who would like to also engage you and ask questions. And I'll be handing over to Jumoke and Sonny shortly. What else do you think you will do? Or what else do you think we need to do as a nation? And I want it a little bit granulated to what the individual can do. Not just they should. What can I do? What can you do? What can Jumoke do? What can Sonny do? What can each one of us do to lead to the process of the emancipation of our great nation, Nigeria?
The first thing that I think that all of us need to do for ourselves is to let's convince ourselves that we are part of the system. We need to convince ourselves that we have power to create the Nigeria that we want. We need to convince ourselves that silence is an action, and that every time we are silent over evil, we endorse it. We need to convince us first, because what has happened is that we have a lot of us disillusioned already. So before you say anything, they say, oh, what can we do? So let's start with us as individuals. The second thing we need to do is we need to, as individuals, be each other's watchdog. What it means is if somebody is serving in love, correct. If the person refuses to listen, then name call and name shame. Because it's a way, this is just to say, are people fear the things they shouldn't fear and are comfortable with the things that they should fear? A man puts his hands on the Bible and swears, and he's not afraid. But you bring a carved wood, tie a red bandage on the head, or even any kind of bandage for that matter, dip it in red coloring, hold it and say to him, swear, and he'll tell you, I'm a Christian. He's afraid of the gods of his own father. And so maybe we need to get there where people are made to fear and respect the law. They need to. All of us, we need to know that this is what the law says about this. The next thing, and I think this is very important, is for all of us to get the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As wrong as that document is, because it's a document that gives impunity and steals from the people, as bad as it is, there's still a few things in it. We need to bring it, and because the people at the National Assembly cannot review it. Forget what they're doing, because anything that makes them lose any part of what they get now, they will never review it. Never, ever. So let the people, let's form our parliaments. If we have to form them community by community, region by region, let's form these groups, sit down, and reconstruct this so that Nigeria can reboot. We need a nation reset. That's what we need. We need a nation reset where we all agree that this is how this needs to be. Because what's happening here is a few people are acting with impunity and a few others are acting docile. That's not how good governance can be achieved. That's not how we can build a nation. We need to build a nation knowing that we are all part of the nation and that whatever actions we take can make or mar the nation. So it's us. Let's take our powers back as citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Take it back and ensure that we save our country, all of us. I mean, like, I won't keep quiet. Let the ones who don't want to talk like us can begin to write for us to talk. The ones who understand history and can share history can begin to call people. Don't underestimate what a few people can achieve, because that's the only thing that can achieve anything. So let's start in our small corners. Let's start rebuilding. It will take us some time. It can't happen automatic, because the entire wrath did not happen automatically. Otherwise, I mean, like, we won't be here. But let's start. But let's run faster than the decay. Let's run faster so that we can overtake some of these processes. Otherwise, we may all end up selling the sakara.
That's a good one. All right, let me leave you. Let me hand over to Sonny and Jimo, okay? And let them take it from there. Thank you so much, Hilda.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
God bless you. If you do come to Lagos, bless you. Thank you.
Sure will. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor.
Jumoke.
And hello.
I'm here.
Yeah. So thank you very much for sharing your bits so far. My name is Sonny, maybe, and I'll principally handle some of the question and answers, because what we do at this forum is we have opportunities for people to ask you questions, and we like to find out what you think. But before I go into that, just to share a few perspectives, I read, nation building, because the topic for today is nation building, national unity, and social cohesion. And typically, this thing is not done by government alone, and you have said as much. Citizen participation is needed. One thing I've noticed in Nigeria is like we hardly have respect for each other. Whether it's people from the same tribe, different tribe, we are so hostile to ourselves. We are so antagonistic to each other. An average Nigerian is angry in traffic, he's impatient, he doesn't wait for the next man, and but we need that respect if we must build social cohesion. When you go abroad, you see people drive, everybody is respectful of the other person, waiting for them to go before they go. Nobody is in a hurry to take the spotlight, So I agree, social cohesion is one thing we need. But let me ask you this question. What role? I mean, I know that recently 2 days ago, they made some announcement that they were adjusting the national, the NYC scheme. That was one scheme that I think Gawan came up with to build inclusion, unity, and help Nigerians know other parts of the country. And, for the large part, since it was introduced, I think in 73 or 74, it has worked. Many of us went through that system. It was good, but recently it has sort of dwindled. And apart from that program, to be honest, I do not know any other deliberate policy of government, either federal or states, to build cohesion, unity among the people. So what role do you think the government, communities, whether states or federal, can play in pulling people together to really build a united, cohesive Nigeria?
You see, every platform we had for
Yes.
cohesion is almost failing. The first used to be the unity schools, where children
Exactly.
went from this state to that state,
That's
and
true.
and it was good for children. We even picked up the languages of the states where we went to, and we learned a lot about their culture as well. We have messed that up with insecurity because now, at some point, what was in vogue was colonialism at work, was a British curriculum and American curriculum and French curriculum. And rather than send children to school based off of the quality of the school, we were looking at the curriculum of the school because, again, whatever was ours had been crowned not good enough. And because education at some point didn't get adequate funding, it also gave the people in government the audacity of sending their children out of the country. Now, that is the most horrible thing because as long as they don't have anything at stake here, education won't get adequate funding. And that's what's been going on. So we lost the Unity School. The NYSC, we already lost because we also got to a point during NYSC where it was no longer a level playing ground. If you arrived camp, they would say all the children from overseas university this way, and then they will separate them: UK, Canada, and US this way, Germany, Europe this way, African universities that way, and then Nigerian universities. They created classism, created classes and split people. Then we got to the point where parents and even the young ones were paying for their own slots. So we just know how to start and destroy. Like you said, lack of respect. And if you want to see how disrespectful Nigerians can be, drive on the streets of any city. People curse from when they sit on their steering to when they leave. They're cursing, they're swearing, they're driving wrongly, people are blocking others. And sometimes you wonder, like, what will it cost you if that vehicle moved? Some would see that ahead of them, there's no way to go, yet they will dare to move and block. So the lack of respect and the environment to build this cohesion is something that we have continued to deepen its divide. So we don't have that. So now, what do we do to bring them together? And I like to use the two things that I like a lot because it's only when we do them that we don't remember where we're from and we don't remember where the people are from either. Sports and art. When we started Nollywood, nobody ever asked anybody where they were from. They just asked you state of your languages spoken. And once you're Nigerian, the next thing is language. Nobody cared your local government. We didn't need local government clearance. So if you are Igbo and spoke Yoruba, you could perform in a Yoruba movie. If you were Yoruba and spoke Igbo very well, you could do an Igbo movie. So we did tribalize the original Nollywood. But like most things, it didn't take time before before we started again pushing the narrative of divide. Even though we had Igbo language movies and Yoruba language movies, we did not have only Yorubas in Yoruba movies or only Igbos in Igbo movies. I'm Rivers, but I was in Igbo movie. Shan George is Cross River, but she was in Yoruba films. So as long as you spoke the language, you were allowed to be anywhere. Sport is the same thing. Nobody cares. It can be, you can come from anywhere. As long as you were playing and wearing Nigerian jersey, you are Nigerian. So maybe we have reached that point where we need to encourage more people to get into things, not necessarily sports and art, but things that when you are at work, you are a human being, not a Yoruba man or an Igbo man or an Ijaw man. Or no, you are a human being. You are a Nigerian. So some of these things can come as exchange programs. Religion is another thing that breaks boundaries, except that now we're having Islamic divide and Christian divide, and Christians are dividing every day into smaller units. We have all kinds of denominations and all of that. But I think that the NYSC, as much as it has lost its vibe, we can create another platform where young people are allowed to express themselves. An internship camp, a leadership camp, right? Let everyone come in irrespective. We can blind choose them. We can blind choose them. They don't need to even tell us where they're from. As long as they're Nigerians, let's have those leadership camps. If they're scrapping NYSC, I think the reason they're doing it is because of the insecurity. Parents don't want to allow their children to certain places anymore because they're not sure they will come home alive. So for me, I would think that a leadership camp may work. We can't have them in military camps because now that we're saying people have repented, therefore they have put them in the army. I don't see how a snake repents. So until I know that, I don't think that I will be part of approving that. But we do actually need the opportunity to work together.
Absolutely. Just to clarify, I don't think they are scrapping the NYC. What they are doing is that they are saying they are demilitarizing it. You know, from time, the head of the NYC has always been a military, usually a colonel. They
Yes.
now say it's going to be led by a civilian, and that they are going to change the uniform. Instead of khaki, they will wear Ankara. And I was listening to a debate. Somebody says, so you want us to wear Yoruba cloth? Why not Itibo? Or why not? Anyway, that's just my anyway.
You see, it's still people not knowing what the problem is. We're treating symptoms instead of looking at the problem. Whether we wear adire or we wear itibo and woko or we wear akwamiri, it's not in the cloth, it's in the people. Do Nigerians have the urge and the need to want to serve their country? Do Nigerians love that act? I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about, do Nigerians at any point feel like, just raise their flags and wave it? The only time young people did that, they shot at them. Don't forget. They shot at them. Young people were kneeling down, singing the national anthem and waving the Nigerian flag, and the Nigerian army had the audacity of opening fire on them. So do we still have that need? Do we have the urge? Do we want to? So it's not in the fabric, and it's not even in the military or non-militarizing of what the military did was that they helped in giving precision. I think it just started collapsing gradually. When we served, we did all the man o' war training. It was good for us. The physical and health training, it was good for us. All that time consciousness and everything that they tried to instill, it was just to give us, and don't forget, we were at the time coming from the background of the military. So that military thing was required. So now we're in civilian rule, TV civilian, but I don't know, but whatever it is, I think that we still all need a place where we can come together, agree with ourselves, and gradually reassure one another that we can live together, because people don't believe that we can live together. Just go on the streets of social media. If you drop a post and your post says anything about leadership not being right, the first thing they look at is your name. If your name has anything to show where you are from, they will abuse your entire tribe on account of your opinion. So we're too divided. We're too divided. We still need to stay together in peace, or just say, you know what, let's just return to how we were.
Excellent. Now that you have gone to the social media space, I have a question for you. I mean, you were in Labour Party in 2023, and you and the Obedience were massive on the social media space during that election campaign. Now, what role social media has become a very powerful force. Previously in Nigeria, we are one of the most vociferous, active consumers of or users of social media. Um, does it unite us more or does it divide us? How can it be used responsibly? What
Okay.
would be your advice?
We can use it responsibly by letting every one of us know what's happening in our different areas. It's okay to use the social media if you can pass your message responsibly, because sometimes it's also in the way that we pass the message, the way we pass the message, and the people who consume this message. Now, you need to know that a lot of these young people, especially between 25 and below, truly do not know anything about Nigerian history. If you ask them any question about how we got to this place, they don't know. They don't know, and it's not because they are ignorant. They don't know because there is no platform from where they can get to know. There is no subject in school that teaches them history. Specific topics, even in history, have been removed for reasons best known to the school curriculum board. So, when they are online, for them, there are two things that are playing. Don't forget that one is sharing information, the other one is making money. Most people are about making money, not sharing information. So if we learn how to make money, even as we share positive information or required information, then we can have a healthier space. But the space we have now is a space where what sells is buffoonery and sex and, obscene acts. That's what
Yeah,
sells. So a
yeah,
lot of people are on social media for all the wrong reasons. But social media can be used positively for dissemination of information, for training people, for teaching skills. A lot can happen on social media. A lot. COVID taught us that you can learn. You can be busy the whole time without stepping out of your house. You can have your office in your home and run whatever you want to run positively, and even evaluate your students online. So we just need to manage it, not stop it. For instance, I tell you what I do. If I was following you and I found out that everything you sent was abusive, I unfollow you, because I do not want to see abusive content. If you're obscene, I also don't want to see obscene things. I unfollow you. I don't block you. I just unfollow you so that the algorithm won't push you to me. But if I know that on your platform, on your timeline, I'm going to learn a thing or two, something new that would warrant me wanting to do further research, like Pastor already just gave me an assignment, which I intend to do, right?
yeah.
Then I would follow you. But anything outside of that, no. So the social media in 2022, 2023, we did a lot of hard work. We got Nigerians, if you recall, before then, Nigerians didn't like to vote. The obedience made Nigerians vote. I was online giving people short codes to pick up their cards, short codes to edit their cards if they had information they wanted to upgrade, review, and all of that. We went that extra mile for Nigerians and for ourselves, because for us, it was about take back Nigeria. That was what it was. So we were online. We made it our business to give people information, to encourage people to be part of the political system, to encourage them, to encourage this democracy to stand. We did that. But where we are.
Where we are. Like, you are absolutely right. A lot of things that people like to consume on social media are exactly the things that you described. And people go on the reel today. Is it real or what's that thing? They just keep scrolling and they are there for hours and hours and hours, because they just keep bringing one thing or the other. And usually they like all these funny, obscene things. But we do have some people that would like to ask you questions. And if you have any questions for Hilda Dokubo, please raise your hand electronically and we'll be calling them. Please keep your questions short and sharp, straight to the point. If they are comment, also keep them straight and sharp, straight to the point. So we'll start with somebody from the youth movement, Tri-Africa Youth Movement. Please tell us your name and ask your question or make your comment.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pastor Sonny. My name is Henry Kentebe.
Okay.
I'm joining from Toronto, Ontario. It's good to see my sister, my lovely Ijo sister. Beautiful to see you once again. Thank you for joining us today. I'm not surprised about your nationalism, your courage, your passion, your energy. That because that's who we are. The Ijaw people, so Republican in nature. We don't normalize bad behavior. We believe in people. We don't believe in Baba Sokwe. We are not monarchy in nature. I'm proud of our heritage. Yeah, I just wanted to also contribute about the respect that we mentioned, because we have missed what is the most important. It is love. Because if you love your wife, you won't disrespect your wife. Love is everything. Even God said, you have to love your God and love your neighbor.
Your neighbor.
Love that is why we are doing what we are doing. That is why we are so disorganized. We are so disrespectful. Even in the youth movement, everybody knows I can't even stomach disrespect and the disorder. So I just wanted to point out that we have to make sure that we hammer on love even before the respect. And going to politics, I think you are also right that APC did not win the election. However, the other election was lost by the opposition as well, because they were divided. And most likely, history is going to repeat itself again. You can't be divided as an opposition and you're going to win a ruling party. It's a no-brainer. So I don't know how you guys are going to do it. I was in PDP before leaving Nigeria, and now I'm partyless because politics in Nigeria is about personality. It has nothing to do with ideology. It has nothing to do with policies. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so happy to speak to my sister, and that's why I've extended the 2 minutes. I hope. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's have Abraham.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
I would really like her to speak to this issue of this divided, different political parties all over the place and so on and so forth. So please note that, Sonny. She has to speak to it, because I don't know how the opposition is expecting to win from APC when you have about 3 heads.
No, Pastor, I think the question really is, are they planning to form a coalition? Because they said, I listened to PRP. They said they are cooperating with other parties is not off the table. So to Labour also, is cooperating with other opposition party, is it on the table? Is it something that you guys are open to discussing, to presenting a common candidate?
You see, if that question was a Hilda Dokubo's question, I would say we cannot win until we all come together. Because as individuals, it will be easier to rig us out again. As individual political parties, it will also be very easy to rig us out, because who pays the INEC? Who pays the judiciary? When a judge can tell a serving minister that he's an orphan without the minister. So you can imagine the kind of judges we have. So for me, it's a needed requirement for us to win this election. We must all come together and decide. That's why I said it's something that needs to cross party lines. It needs to cross ethnic lines. We just need to cross those lines and just come together as one and say, okay, you know what? As parties, we will stand with this candidate. And let it be that candidate versus this Akara Agbado serving government. So that we can move forward. We need to move forward. That's the truth of the matter. But if we all choose that, it's also part of why I have refused to leave my political party, because I believe that whoever you are, make sure that your quality rubs off on every other person that you meet. If you are in a political party, be the change that you want to see in that party. Influence other people. Don't let them influence you wrongly. You influence them positively. So before you know what is happening, by 4 years, you would have created your own army of people who believe in the right things. So army is not just left, right. It's also discipleship. It's followership. Let people know that there is need for us to have more people willing to do the right things in the political parties. So yes, Pastor Itwa, I believe strongly that we all need to come together if we must take back this country.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that very direct question. So what I hear is Labour Party is open. I mean, you are in the national leadership, and I know you are not speaking for Labour Party, but if you were to advise, you would say, let us coalesce and come together, right? Okay,
exactly.
Excellent. All right, let's have Abraham. You can unmute yourself and ask your question or make your comment.
All right, thank you very much, sir. My own, I would like to ask 2 questions. The first one, I will begin with a comment. For me, I feel one of the greatest challenge we are facing is the fact that we are not fully prepared before we went for independence. And now after independence, here we are struggling to build a nation. And that is the ugly reality that we find ourselves. Now, in order for us to have a nation, it means that our ethnic affiliation should become secondary. So the question now is, how do we make this ethnic and tribalistic affiliation to become secondary? That is one. Then the second one is this. Our big auntie rightly pointed out that we need to decolonize. But there is also a challenge there. A region like the North, for instance, has gone through colonization upon colonization. So if you ask the Hausa man, he will tell you that he has been colonized. Meanwhile, there are other minority tribes that the Hausa man colonized before the Fulani man colonized them, and now before the West, now finally colonized us. In the North, this is the dilemma. So people are struggling with these memories of colonization upon colonization. Now, if we are going to decolonize, what exactly does that mean? Which element should we discard? She has mentioned that we should discard all this gender inequality and the rest of them. But now, what should we pick from our past? And exactly at what point should we start considering returning back to those values?
Thank you. 2 questions. I hope you got him.
Yes, one of them is, where do we start decolonizing ourselves from? And the second one is, come with the second one again. Okay, so let me be taking that whilst
Yeah,
you're
be taking that. Yeah.
okay. So maybe we should also look at what in the colonization is oppression. What do we consider oppression? What do we consider oppression? Because if you colonize somebody, which means you're putting the person under your own control, putting it in a very lame, as my children will say, primary four definition. So if that's what it is, what to you is oppression? Is oppression taking away your resources and then telling you how it will be controlled or how it will be used or managed? Do you consider that oppression? Is oppression removing you from your ancestral home and taking you somewhere else that you don't know? Because until you identify what in that system removes you from your originalness, we cannot solve the problem. So let me give you an example from where I come from. I'm from the Niger Delta and Major. We have crude oil, we have fish. When the colonial masters came and they all discovered oil, they made a few promises to our people, even before it became Nigeria. They told them that, oh, with this oil will come schools and hospitals and all of that. If you go to Oduabaji, where it was first drilled, till today, they don't have a good school. That is oppression. You took from us what is ours. You did your business in the most environment unfriendly ways. You spilled, you were flaring for many years, you're still flaring even now, and yet not one word of promise made by you has been kept. For us, is you adulterating our system because we're unable to do. I'm taking this to the lowest now. I've not gone to governance. I'm just looking at how it affects our life, our economic life. You have taken away our source of livelihood, our original source of livelihood, which, by the way, enabled us diversify. So you could have looked at agriculture and aquaculture, and the two ways would still have given you money outside of the crude oil. Now you took away these two and also took this, messed this up, and this now messed up the other things within the region, messed up people's cultures, messed up beliefs, messed up homes, messed up families, and all of that. See, if you know the kind of evil that has happened where a 14-year-old child is already a mother twice, and even sometimes cannot tell you who the father of the child is because of this, like you have said, colonization upon colonization, taking what is mine and replacing it with what is yours, and trying to convince me that mine is evil and yours is good. It's everywhere. So let's start with us. What do we consider evil? Let's start by correcting that.
Yeah.
Let's start by correcting that. Let's take that back. If we pray 5 times a day, and that is what is naturally right by your people, return to it. Start gradually. You see, the thing is, we are all afraid of starting. All of us. We're all afraid. So when you test it, I beg, I beg, things are going wrong. Things are going wrong. We need to correct these things. When did our own schools become, see, before now, at least in my home, before they teach you 1, 2, 3, 4, they teach you Ige my tre ini sono sonio. They teach you first in my dialect. This is my home. My father, until the day he died, was an engineer. My mother, a school teacher. So if they will start with teaching us in our native tongue, I don't think it's so evil. Otherwise, a man who went to the university and became an engineer would not allow his child go through that. So he knew that the English language was okay, but he also knew that my native tongue was better. And you see, have you ever tried talking to somebody who's able to reason it through in their native language? See, in film, when we teach acting, we say to the person, this is what we expect you to do. Can you say it in your language? When the person says it in their language, it's more original. Let's go back to our original selves. Let's stop this allowing infringements here and there. I hear you about the North, about the Canary, about the Moors, and about the British, and about all these unlawful marriages that they have put together. I hear you, but I also hear you. And I want you to know that you too can listen to me and start gradually from your space to take back your power by returning your own family first to their culture. Return your own people.
Fantastic.
Teach your people your language. Teach your children to speak your language. Teach your children to sing your language, dance your language. Teach your children to know that traditionally, when they say this person is a thief, traditionally, you are just not it again. Nobody can begin to discuss with you. Okay? That's what I think we should start from.
Fantastic, fantastic. I think his second question was what do we take out? That a lot of people see themselves first as Igbo people. So on forms, you see that sorry to the Igbos, please. A lot of people see themselves first as Ishan people before somebody come and accuse me now that why is it Igbo that I said, so you have our forms, first of all, people, so should we remove all those identities that separate us, or how do we harmonize
No,
that?
we have always been that. We
Yeah.
have always been that, but we have also always respected one another.
Yeah.
We have always had all the tribes. We even children born by the same parents do not all come in the same way. Some are quick-tempered, some are slow-tempered, some speak fast, some speak slow. So it has nothing to do with all of that. What is happening here is that the colonial masters, before they left some kind of superiority element around certain people. They were superior to us. Now they are gone. They handed leadership over to people. Those people over time have continued to push that conversation of superiority. And once people feel excluded from a system, they begin to feel like they are not part of that system, and they will fight that system. And that's what's happening in Nigeria. We all know, like, why is it difficult for us to understand people in office, but when they leave office, they understand us? They are unable to understand us when they're in office. Whatever we say is wrong. But the day they leave office, they begin to understand us, and they want to even cry louder than we are crying. Why?
That's correct.
It's not tribe. It's not tribe. So we are who we are. Like I keep saying, if you remove federal character is discriminative. That's why I said that's what I would remove first. It's discriminative because the federal character tells you that one tribe is superior to the other tribe. One tribe is entitled to one thing and the other tribe is not. It's discriminative. It tears people. Remove that nonsense so that Nigerians can be Nigerians. You can still be Igbo and be Nigerian, be Yoruba and be Nigerian, be Ijo and be Nigerian. So when they ask you, where are you from? Say, I'm a Nigerian. I hardly hear somebody from Ghana say, I am Twi instead of Ghana. It say, I'm Ghanaian. It's when you say, oh, which part of Ghana? Then you say, oh, we're Twi speaking. Oh, we're Shanti. Oh, we're from Kumasi. That's when we hear that. But our own, we start with it the other way around. So we need to stop. We need to stop.
Okay. All right. I will hand over to Jumoke. But in fairness to Nigerians also, when they ask us outside, we say we are Nigerians. We do not claim to be what we are. Yeah. So just like Ghanaians, Nigerians always also claim Nigerians. All right. So thank you very much. Jumoke, you can take over from here.
Good evening, madam. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been very interesting and engaging listening to you. I have my own questions, but I'll take the ones from the floor, and then maybe we can close with my question. I have Mr. Adeyemo Shodikwo. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes.
I have two more questions.
Yeah. I do agree with what she said, but I have some problems about going back to where we used to be.
Okay.
One is this. What if somebody is Yoruba and married to Igbo? How's that going to work? I think that we are what the creator wanted us to be. I remember when we were growing up, I have people, I grew up in Lagos. We have Igbo people that came from the East to take advantage of the free education. I have friends who are Igbo and they cannot even speak the language. I think what the British did, I still don't know how they did it, how they were able to take over the country and all that. I think what we need to do is like what they do in other countries, Europe, America. I've always given this example. Look at Obama. Obama was born in Hawaii. When he moved to Illinois, he became a senator from Illinois. Till we remove that stigma that you claim where your dad is from. What if your mom is from a different part of the country? Do we always say that you have to take where your dad is from? In some places in Ghana, the mom state is supposed to be their state of origin. That's what they use. And I think that Nigeria has gone so far that what you want us to do, saying that learn your language first and all those things. I have people where the only language we could speak is English. We have to learn to live together. It's too late for us. If we are talking about how the state should develop, we have all these people, they are just interested in stealing the money. They are not concerned about the welfare of their state. They allocate so much money to the Niger Delta Corporation. They allocate money to Delta State. What have they really done with the money? Till we have accountability, we cannot continue to be dividing each other and all those things. Like I'm not for the
Sir, do you
rotation.
mind rounding up? It's been
Yeah.
2 minutes already. If you don't
Yeah,
mind, if you can end with
I'm
the
so sorry.
question.
Yeah, the question is that it's too late for us to change that we are not Nigerians. We are Nigerians first. We cannot change that unless we want to divide the country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't think I ever said we should stop being Nigerians. I said we need to throw away that thing we call federal character and all describe ourselves as Nigerians. So if that's what it is, it means you and I agree that it's more important for us to be Nigerians than to be anything else, but will not take away from us where we come from. But that should be secondary. What should be important to us is upholding Nigeria. So, Mr. Deyemo, you and I are on the same page.
Thank you very much. I think we had Felix's hand up, but I see that he has put his hand down. Felix, did you still have a question or a comment? We've asked you to unmute.
Okay.
Go
Thank
ahead.
you, ma.
Speak up, please.
Thank you so much, ma. My question is just straightforward. In respect to the movement, you were part of the obedient movement and a strong advocacy for good governance. And how can we have a youth movement that is well structured, not tailored by personality, just like obedient movement, that can stand the test of time, that can bring change in this governance from the national to state and what level, not be motivated by money?
Okay, so the first thing is make sure that all of you who are at the formative stage are all selfless, that you are willing to work for other people. And whether you are the one doing or somebody else is doing, as long as the doing is aimed at achieving the aim of your organization, you will be glad with it and you will support it and make it run. What usually happens is people set up organizations, and when it is not them doing, any other person doing becomes an enemy, becomes wanting to steal their idea and all of that. Or you are so self-centered and selfish that you don't want other people to get involved. So make sure that everybody at that initial level, the initiators of this movement, are all selfless people. That's one. Two is make sure from the very beginning you clearly state what your goal is, what the aim and objective for this movement is, and clearly state your strategy. It can keep changing. Your strategies can be reviewed from time to time. You can tell yourself, we'll review after 6 months, we'll review after 3 months, but you keep reviewing as you move along. I know that there are certain ideas that would grow their own legs and hands and run. They will run faster than you who initiated it, because people will just buy into it massively and they will start running with it. Money is a true test of loyalty. If you have to fake it, fake it, but drop some money in your midst and see whether you are still all together. Find some money, whatever money, no matter how small, drop it in the middle for all of you. If all of you are still together at the end of the day over how that money is used, then you're a good team. But if you tear yourselves into shreds, then you know you have to put a new team together, right? And then make sure always that you are accountable to all of you. All of you are accountable to all of you and to all the people who don't see you. So from time to time, you must brief the rest of the people on what you are doing. Okay? You must brief the people on what you are doing and how you are doing it. Don't let anybody, for whatever reason, tell you to do what is not written in your document. And then I want to borrow you something that I learned from my teacher mother. Write down the things you think that are likely to disrupt you. You don't know them, but anticipate them. Anticipate the things that will give you wahala. If language is going to be a problem, write language. But along on that, on the column next to the language, write the person that can give you the proper language you need. And know that if you don't contact this person, you may not find the right language. So you are preempting the fact that you're likely to have challenges, and you are dealing with the challenges ahead of when it will show up. And importantly, know that everything would have critics. The ones who will criticize you to help you grow, and the ones who will criticize you deliberately to just pull you down. So whichever role they are playing at any time, whether to pull you down or to just help you grow, know that there is a lesson in each of this group of people. Humbly learn the lessons involved, thank the people you will thank, and ignore the ones you will ignore. You cannot fight everyone. Once you start like that, you can build that kind of network. The reason why the obedient movement went the way it went was because there was buy-in, willing buy-in. All we were doing was throwing out the ideas of things that we wanted to do, and people were buying in. So you can get people to buy into your idea, and you just move. Don't give up. No matter what happens, don't give up. Keep running.
Thank you so much for those powerful words of encouragement. We have a lot of our youths. They have a youth movement. So those are really words of encouragement that they needed to hear. So I hope you guys are taking notes, those of you on here, and you can share with those that didn't make it here. Abubakar, please go ahead. We've asked you to unmute.
Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I just want to, let me say, contribute to what the speaker said. My own contributions here is based on the issue of master plan. Every country that wants to develop, came up with a master plan that helped them in developing their countries. So my own, let me say, projections here is the political parties that wants to make a opposition to counter the ruling party, if they can come up with an avenue to compile all their plans for this country, the obedience group, the PDP and what have you, let them have a coalition. Aside from the coalition, all these president governors, let them document their own plan into a master plan. This master plan will be a document for a new party, and this party will be in a projection of maybe 50 to 100 years. So any coalition that will be coming from that party will have to work with that master plan. Because what we are losing So if we are going to come up with this, in our own
Abubakar, your audio keeps
coalition,
going. Okay.
let us have this communique will help in collating all these plans, and this plan will become a master plan for the country.
Okay. You may have to write that comment because your audio was cutting in and out. Go ahead, Professor Grange. Go ahead, Ma. We've asked you to unmute.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much, Jumoke. And thank you, my dear sister, Madam Hilda Dokubo. That name Dokubo rings a bell. Dokubo has been in politics for quite a while, I think, Anyway, I really want to commend your spirit, your sacrifice, because you've been making sacrifices, for you to get to where you are now as the what do you call it, the women leader of a party. It's amazing, because we all fight shy of getting into parties. Parties try to get you to change into something that you are not, rather than you changing them, So that is one question for you. How do you hope to maintain your own identity within that party, and to be able to show those people in your party as a role model, that you're a role model for them? That's one question. My second question, which is not going to take long, Jumoke, I know you are counting my minutes. My second question is about the diaspora. Many of us some of us are retired in diaspora, and we try to see what we can do to get diaspora to play a role in the politics of Nigeria, and particularly in transforming Nigeria, to a modern, country that obeys laws, because that is the difference between diaspora and Nigeria. Law law enforcement in the diaspora is what gets everybody on their toes, So, but what we find now is that we hardly have any power at all in diaspora. We cannot vote. We can't, when we write to people in the country, to leaders in the country, they don't take any note, they don't take note of us. So I think we need to find out how can we reorganize ourselves to be able to play that role in Nigeria, whereby the diaspora is contributing not only money, they do contribute now, but
Mommy, you're going to put me in trouble with with everybody that I cut off after
okay. I think she's got my question. How
Yeah.
can we play, a transformative role, in Nigeria?
Uh,
Thank you.
okay, ma. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Prof. We already acknowledge that a lot of money is coming in from diaspora. So that already is one entry point. The other entry point is for what I want to believe my mother's generation did, which is identify one person. All the women come together, and in this case, the people in diaspora, and agree that this one person they're going to support. You have all left families and children or some friends here. You can start by holding those conversations with them and pointing them to the persons of your choice and giving them reasons as to why this is happening, whilst we still stay advocating that you become eligible to vote. A few things had happened in the past where a lot of diasporans were disillusioned, like the investments in Lagos, the housing investment that the Minister for Works and Roads, Omehi, destroyed the estate and they lost a lot of money. So a few things they have had to deal with from the diaspora where they had to lose money, lose reputation and all of that. But we will not allow ourselves to be stopped by some of these irresponsible acts. As for me and upholding my values and reminding myself regularly about being a role model and ensuring that nobody puts me off track, is that I have continued to run my advocacies irrespective of the fact that I am national woman leader of a political party. I have not bothered myself with saying I will be blacklisted, yellow listed, or whatever listed for that matter. I have continued to speak for the people and for myself because I am part of the people. And I have done that boldly. Now it's making a lot of sense to other women who also are beginning to speak up because we need to build that cohesion. We need to have all of us. There is something about the power of one, the power of one that is convinced, who is able to convince the other people about it. So I know about all the, let me tell you one of the things I did when I first joined the Labour Party in 2022 and was going to run. And they would fix meetings at odd hours. One of those days, I went to the meeting way earlier than the odd hour. And when we got to the odd hour, I told them, I just asked a very simple question. I said, please, is everyone here married or unmarried? I mean, the men. And most of them were married. And I said, at this particular time that you have fixed the meeting, if your wife got up from your home at this time and said she was going to attend a political meeting, what would you think and what will you do? Nobody responded to the question. Apparently, they knew where I was going, but they stopped fixing meetings at those ungodly hours because they knew that they couldn't justify it. When they started with asking for money for forms and all those things, I asked them a simple question. Would you give your wife 10 million of your money or of money belonging to the family to buy a form when you are unsure whether or not she would win the election? And would you give her that and still be troubled by the fact that you think some man is going to make a pass on her? And I was asked a very simple question. So what are you suggesting? I said, I am suggesting that you give the women the forms free. They make better leaders, by the way. The only thing they called me was gender. After they called me gender 2, 3 times, they got tired of calling me gender, but they started giving out the forms for free. What do I care whether you called me gender? Uh-huh. So there are a few things that we all can do to get things working for ourselves, because I would hate to lose myself just because of politics. No, I didn't lose myself when I served under a governor. When I didn't like what he did, I told him to his face and I said, "Okay, I will not do this one." For instance, everybody knew that one thing I did not do at any time was make a political statement. If you ask me to make a political statement, I'll tell you I won't attend the meeting. I'd rather be absent than make a political meeting, because I'll hate to come out tomorrow and say to somebody, "Oh, I lied." I'd rather say, for the time I said it, it was the right thing to say. It's different today. I don't believe in the same thing. After all, it's not an all-time truth. It's not about Jesus is Lord. That's the only all-time truth I know. Every other thing can be truthful today and can change tomorrow. So let's just say, for me, who I am, my belief in God, and what I call love and respect for humanity, I am not prepared to trade for any political fittings. I don't want to fit in. I just want to be me.
Thank you. We're going to take the last question from Auntie Yemisi Ransom Kuti, and then we'll close with my question and bring Pastor back up. Auntie, please go ahead.
Hello, my dear sister Hilda. I mean, when I see women like you and the power you are just generating, we know that things will change sooner than later. Over the years, you know, struggling during the civil rights and the human rights and all of that, and now grappling with the political environment we have. Well done. Let me give you lots of bozas from my end here. Thank you, my dear sister, for what you are doing. God bless you. And God continue to give you the strength to continue to lead and portray the virtues and the goodness that leadership can bring to Nigeria, particularly through the female gender. God bless you. Thank you so much. My quick question to you is that the huge part of the problem for political activity is the financing, the resources that is needed for campaigns, for whatever it is, to run a party and to run the electoral process. You know, do you have any thoughts? Because when I speak to other politicians, when they say the corruption that happens when they're in government, it's all to run the politics. You know, that is not really corruption. They're taking the money so that they can oil the system of running for office, doing all these rallies, even the bribing of the citizens with 5,000 here and there. It's all part of what is has been accepted. So have you been able to come up with some thoughts yourself on how we can reform this system so that people don't have to, you know, steal to get into office and then steal more money to stay in office and run for election and all of that? Once again, thank you, my dear sister. God bless you, you, for all that you are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Money is a big part of politics. Any part of politics, whether you want to run for an elective office or you want to lobby for an appointed, it's a critical part of this business. And the people, the citizens of Nigeria, are a huge part of all of these demands, and they don't know. That's the sad part. They do not know that why professional politicians, that's what I like to call them. I used to call them wicked politicians until somebody said I couldn't use the word wicked to describe human beings. So now I call them professional politicians. The truth of the matter is they spend a lot of money. They do. And they spend these monies over everything. The minute you say you want to run, tigers come up in your community. When you go in, they say, "Oh, you have to see all the chiefs." And they will give you a long list of the things that you must give to the chiefs. You give to kings, you give to chiefs, you give to political leaders, you give to youth leaders, women leaders, all these leaders before even the citizens. And all of these people you are giving money and drinks and all other kinds of gifts, they all have one vote. But you're giving them more because there is the understanding that they have communities under them. And that this your money, they're going to give it to those people. But they don't. So when those people attend the meetings you have to give again, by the time you put all this money here, money there, 2 cups of rice there, 1 tin of tomato, blah, blah, blah. But you see, the politicians do it because it's a weapon. It's a tool with which they get into office. The people collect it because they think, well, this is part of their own cake. If they don't take it now, they may never get it. So it's just one robber against the other robber. That's what it is. Because the minute people understand that it is actually your money that is being given back to you like this, the money for your school, for your road, for your hospital, for your children's scholarship, that's this money, your increase in salary, that's this money that they're giving to you as 5,000, 2,000, 3,000. They will stop. They will stop to make those demands, but they don't know. And they think it's part of the cake. So these people wait, they spend all of this money. And then the minute they get into office, the first thing they want to do is take back all their money. And nobody wants to take back without making profit. So let me use me as example. When I ran for election, because I ran for National Assembly, House of Reps. And the good thing is, well, I come from the ruling house in my place. So it was easy for me to just tell them at home, without needing money, just say, I think that I may run this election. And I had only just managed to say it when the women held a meeting, came and said, if you will go, we will stand with you. But we are worried that you may not want to go. So I didn't have to spend that initial money. But I also told myself that I was not going to spend money on anything that under normal circumstance I would not have given. So rather than go there and give 2 tins of tomatoes and 1 cup of rice, I would go there, work with the women, get people to go with me, we'll provide training, and we will start small businesses. So in some communities, I would start like 60 small businesses. Because whether I win or lose, those 60 businesses can continue. And then I will look for 2, 3, 4 kids that I can pay their school fees, and I will pay their school fees so that it didn't hurt. Whether I lost or won, it never would have hurt me, because under normal circumstances, those are things that I liked to do. But I also know that I could have gone overboard and done the same 5,000 naira thing. But I wanted to sleep with my eyes closed. I didn't want to be asleep and awake at the same time and be contemplating and asking myself, what did you use all your money for? This, that. It was easier to understand that I supported people in growing their businesses, in helping them start off businesses, in keeping children in school. So I didn't have to give anybody 5,000, 2,000. And then whenever anybody said, oh, she will call meeting and not give money, say, hey, should they give you money now, your papa? Because I would tell them, I will not give you. If I give you and I win, I will take my money back. But scholarship, I can't take what is in your brain. It's going to be yours. So I think that it is us, the politicians and the people. We need to tell ourselves the truth. We need to begin to educate one another, to let them know that the money that they are collecting in advance, in piecemeal, in rubbish money, in rubbish conditions where they throw the rice at you and haul pepper at you, that is your money. You should be given that money with respect by them creating the enabling environment for you to do your own business and create your own wealth. So all of this is part of the marginalization that we need to understand. So that's how, for me, women should create the difference. We should create a different pattern of giving, different from how any other person, so that the men can learn from us and maybe begin to do the same thing. And politics can be better played instead of people hauling money and hauling food at others.
Thank you so very much. And then I have my question, and someone sent me a question that I must ask. But before I ask my question, I just want to thank you for speaking up. I want to thank you for raising your hand. It's something that I think is really helping Nigerian women to step into this ring of leadership and not be afraid of what comes. So I want to thank you for your consistency. I've watched a lot of your videos, and I'm glad I'm meeting you here, even though it's virtually, and your consistency in just being audacious to speak truth to power as a Nigerian woman is very refreshing. And there are a lot of our youths that are here that are just learning from that. So I do appreciate you for your consistency, for your courage, and even for making changes that we probably won't even value until much later. So thank you. We do have, and I'm sure you have mentorship program that we would like to hear more about and how we can tap into that with the Matriarch Circle. So my question, you said something at the beginning and about Nollywood and how it was built on nationalism, not tribal, where you're from. And, the earlier movies, you could see that some Igbo names playing Yoruba roles and even speaking Yoruba fluently. How can we use that template as a national campaign, especially with the Nollywood influence in Nigeria? How can we use that to begin this campaign of cohesion and united Nigeria?
Okay, I think the first thing is people need to understand first that filmmaking, storytelling is capital intensive, but be deliberate about investing in it. We also now have the addition of the social media platforms where you can do your productions and serve them in nuggets, so it's easy to consume by everyone. The first thing is for us to all sit down, look at those thematic areas that we want to market to the rest of us and begin to write stories around them in little nuggets and put some investment to it so that we can push them out. It's only a question of time. It will go from just being materials for training and entertainment. It will now become investment into citizenship, because everybody will use those nuggets productions and either push for bigger productions or just use them to sell nationhood, to sell proper democracy, good governance, team building, sisterhood, brotherhood, build those themes and sell them to us and to the rest of the world. I think that can work. And I also think that not just Nollywood, we can do that also with sports, with even fashion. Who cares who is wearing a shoki? Who cares who is wearing a kente or aquamini? Nobody cares. So even with our fabrics, our art forms, our sports, nobody cares about. And then nobody cares when your child wins. So let's begin to look at those things and put them in this little narrative forms, right? And still mix the cast. This time deliberately mix the cast, not to make jest of saying one person's accent is different from the other person's, or one tribe is narrow-minded and the other tribe is broad-minded. No, not doing that, or serving those discriminatory things of, oh, this culture does not want to marry that and the other does. No, but let's look at citizenship, nationhood, democracy, good governance. Let's look at those things, produce them, and feed the rest of the world with it, starting with us.
Thank you. I hope to see you on the presidential ticket someday. You will definitely get my vote. And so this is the last question. and the person sent it to me, put it on the chat, so I have to ask, shall we leave colonial masters' influence as part of our history and focus on the future, focus on human capacity and capability to address the challenges of now and the future? Why not, if not? So I guess the question is, leave colonial masters' influence as part of history and then focus on human capacity and capability.
I agree. I agree totally. I believe in decolonization. I believe it. I think that we should go past that. We should even go past all the evils of military rule, because there were also some good things about it. Okay. But I think the future is way bigger than our yesterday, but the lessons from yesterday must guide our steps of today so that we ensure a better Nigeria tomorrow. So, yes, I agree with you. We're not even blaming them. We're saying that the things that they left here left some indelible marks on some of us, and that we are beginning to act contrary to the ways that we should have acted. So, yes, I agree with you.
Okay. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of the program. And if you could just close, what would be your parting words? There are a lot of nuggets here that we'll probably be able to coil out. But what would you like to leave us with today?
Nigeria is in our hands.
Yes.
We're the only ones who can uphold her or crush her. Let's do the right thing. Let's uphold Nigeria.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of all of us here at Nigeria Leadership Series, we want to thank you for joining us. Apologies, Mr. President had to step away for another meeting. So we'll be closing, but I'm sure he will be in touch with you to express his
No, I'm still
gratitude.
here.
Oh, you're still here?
I'm still here. I'm still
They
here.
said you were in a meeting. Okay.
Yes,
Over
yes.
to you then.
Don't mind Faye. Okay.
Faye has put me in trouble.
Don't mind Faye. He's going to get a query.
Okay.
Hilda,
Over to you then.
you've done a fantastic job. I think we put you small on hot seats, but it's okay. You seem to have responded and people seem to like what you're saying. So please, that proposal, I'm going to hold you to it. Please, we want to see it. And then some of the things you also said, so there were some things you said, especially for the young people who are trying to have a movement, holding themselves accountable, being truthful, thinking of Nigeria above themselves. And that is really what is a bit missing in Nigeria. Nobody's thinking for Nigeria. Nobody's thinking Nigeria. Nobody's even thinking Nigerian. Everybody's just trying to take advantage of Nigeria. So how do we get this nationalistic thinking? How do we get this communal thinking? How do we get one for all and all for one? How do we ensure that we make the interest, the common interest, superior to our own personal interest? Most Nigerians is their personal interest first, be it politician, be it what they call these people, civil servant. A civil servant will hide your file that you are trying to build 10 bridges. He will hide it under his table because you haven't come to see him with ₦1,000,000. So he will delay the growth of a whole community because he wants ₦1,000,000. I mean, it's unbelievable what goes on. It's atrocious. A politician will take the money of a hospital that he should build, go and buy something for himself in Dubai, or go and buy designer things, or have a silly, what they call, champagne party for one child who's met one boy with all sorts of, and then somebody falls sick in the village and there's no hospital. Or he himself finds that he needs that hospital at some stage and it's not available. So how do we get people to think more of Nigeria? I think you need to really help us with that. And then I think finally you need to also speak to your people that if they don't come together, they're almost dead on arrival. They shouldn't waste their time. You know, Tinubu wasn't in power. He was able to outmaneuver everybody. He's now in power. He has the judges, he has the security forces, he has everybody. And you can see that well, I know people are working hard to destabilize every single party. Almost all of you have one court case or the other. Somebody is being paid to just make things difficult. The big chiefs should know that unless they come together, they are dead on arrival. Period. I have nothing more to say. So people like you who are close to them should try and convince them. If not, it's okay. I can almost tell you the results of the election. And that's what it is. And I don't mind, to be honest, whichever way the election goes. But it would be a shame that there's no great competition to further encourage and deepen our democracy. It should be a big shame that there's nothing. So somebody would have given other people the template of how to hijack Nigeria and take over Nigeria, which we shouldn't quite allow. The fun of democracy is the competitiveness of democracy and going out to the field to convince the people. And the other thing we must work hard on is educating our people, informing them, and that's where Nollywood can come in. You know, maybe you can influence your colleagues there that the movies should be more inspirational, more educational, more challenging, which Hollywood tries to do sometimes. You can even predict the way America is going to go when you start to follow their Hollywood. You can begin to predict how the Americans are thinking. They tell you in advance. They've been filming some things, making female presidents. They are preparing the minds of their people that one day there might be a female president in America. You know, I think Nollywood should be a bit more deliberate and have a lot more impact than some wizard is somewhere, somebody is sleeping with somebody's wife, and some Baba Juju. Come on. I know it's good entertainment, but we need to go a little bit beyond that. And, you know, if you think of an Indian today, you think of a red Indian, you think of a bad person. That was created by Hollywood, cowboys and Indians. You know, if you think of, they created it. But if you look at the Red Indian, there's nothing bad about him. He was just defending his land. You know, he was just fighting to remain on his land. But cowboys and Indians have created the impression that an Indian is a bad person. Just push that person away. And that's all created by media. So our media must create something positive for us, something endearing, must create a national feeling. How do we feel as Nigerian? Must create a feeling of self, of service to nation, you know, and so on and so forth. So it's another thing for you to think about and for you to talk to your colleagues on that side about. But nonetheless, I want to thank you very, very much for coming today. And I'm sure we'll pull you back again one of these days. And then we'll be able to work together to build as great a Nigeria as we can. God bless you. Love to the family. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the evening and a great weekend ahead. Same to everybody. God bless you all. Thank you for being on the platform. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your criticisms where there's some. Thank you for being great Nigerians and Nigerians in diaspora. And thank you for being part of the process. And to the back end office, I always thank you. I won't mention anybody's name today, but I always thank you. God bless you. Nigeria will be great again in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so much. And good night, everyone.